Ready or not, this decision is coming for all of us. Your Social Security letter arrives, and it's time to decide. Do I cash in now, at 62? Or hold out until 70, when the check is bigger? Am I crazy to want it now? Or is this whole thing just a gamble? Here at Money by Numbers, we don't deal in opinions or expert advice. We follow the data, and only the data. And the data on this is overwhelming. Back in 2016, a landmark study went through more than 1 billion tax records, more than 1 billion, and it proved this was never really a decision at all. It's a gamble. They counted exactly who wins this bet and who loses. And Social Security's own files, their own internal numbers, show they've known who wins for decades. Nobody knows how long any of us is going to live, but they definitely know who comes out ahead. And it isn't us. So no, you're not crazy. It was never a math problem. It's a bet. And here's the mechanism nobody puts a name on. The size of that check is tied to one thing: how long you're going to live. Take it early, and the check is smaller, but you collect it for more years. But if you wait, the check is bigger, and you collect it for fewer years. This is a payout rigged to lifespans. And that's what a casino is. The house doesn't need to know your cards. It only needs to know your odds. So every calculation you've ever been handed, 62, 70, somewhere in between, is just you placing a bet against a house that already knows how the story ends. A bet on your life, dressed up as math. And the house always wins, not by accident, but by design. Social Security is rigged against the middle class and the poor. So who is the house? Who wins when you lose? That's what we're pulling the curtain back on today, on this episode of Money by Numbers. Because smart money never bets against the house. So before you take anyone's advice on this, before you pick a number, 62 or 70, you need to see how this machine is actually built and whose table you're sitting at. Because the people who built the system already know how the story ends for guys like us. They've run the odds. You just haven't seen them yet. So let me show you. Meet Ray. Ray's 62, 35 years on roofs. He spent his summers in the baking sun and his winters up a ladder in the freezing wind. His knees are shot. His back tells him the weather before the forecast does. And his father didn't see 75. Ray's got the same decision in front of him that you do. Take Social Security now, at 62, or wait. And here's what half the advisors tell Ray. Wait. Hold out. Every year you wait, the check gets bigger. Don't leave money on the table. So let's look at that table. Do the math with me. If Ray takes it now, he gets the smaller check, $1,400 a month. If he waits till 70, the government keeps adding to it year after year until it's almost $2,500. $2,500 a month against 14. Of course, that sounds better. That's the whole pitch. But watch what the pitch leaves out. To get the bigger check, Ray gives up 8 years of the smaller one. 8 years of $1,400 a month, gone, while he waits. So that bigger check has to pay all of it back before he's actually ahead. There's an age where it finally does. They call it the break-even. And you don't have to take my word for where it lands. AARP ran the numbers, and it's 80 years and 4 months. Let that sink in. Ray has to live to 80 just to break even on waiting, not to come out ahead, just to get back to even. That's not a money number. It's an age. It's the age Ray has to reach before the smart choice even pays off. Miss it, and every year he waited cost him. So the only question that matters is the one nobody will answer. Is Ray going to make it to 80? And here's where it stops being about Ray and starts being about the odds. Because how long you live in this country is not random. It tracks your money. Remember that landmark study, the one with the 1 billion tax records? Here's the number they pulled out of them. The richest American men outlive the poorest by almost 15 years. And when the National Academy of Sciences ran it for men born in 1960, the men retiring right now, the gap between the top earners and the bottom was almost 13 years. 13 years, 15 years. Pick your number, it's more than a decade. And that's the difference between sailing past the break-even and never getting close. The desk and the corner office buy years. The ladder and the loading dock take them. And that gap isn't bad luck. It's built in, by design. So where does Ray land? Stay with me. The government says this is fair. They've got a word for it, neutral. Take it early, take it late, and over an average life, they say, it comes out about the same. And you know what? For the average man, that's almost true. Social Security's own life tables say a man who makes it to 65 lives to about 83. That's past the break-even. So on average, waiting wins. But there's a trick hiding in that one word, average. Nobody lives average. Some go early, some go late. And whether you beat the average or fall short of it isn't luck. It tracks your money by more than a decade. So fair on average really means this. If you're the kind of man who lives long, waiting pays off big. If you're the kind who doesn't, you lose. And the kind who doesn't is the man who did the hard jobs. The ones who go early paid in for 40 years. Every paycheck, they took a piece. And then they barely draw a check. That money doesn't vanish. It stays in the pot. So forget Ray for a second. At a casino, there's only one question that matters. Who keeps the pot? Let me show you. Meet the man across town. Call him the attorney. Same age as Ray. But he sat at a desk for 40 years. He had a good chair, good doctors, and parents who lived long. He's planning to ride his bike at 90, and he probably will. He waits till 70. He takes the big check, and he draws it for 20, 25 years. He blows past the break-even and keeps going. He wins the bet. Big. But here's the part that'll get you. Almost nobody can play the attorney's game. Look at who actually waits till 70. This is data from Social Security's own numbers. It's barely 1 man in 100. 1 in 100. And nearly 4 in 10 claim the day they're first allowed, at 62. Why? Because waiting 8 years with no check is a rich man's move. You need savings to live on while you hold out. The attorney has the savings. Ray doesn't. And Ray often doesn't even get to choose. The roofers, the construction crews, the people on their feet all day. The health data shows they're far more likely to be hurt, sick, or worn out by 60. They don't decide to claim early. Their bodies decide for them. And the second they do, that 30% cut is locked in for the rest of their lives. So follow the money through the whole machine. The poor man claims early, forced to, and gets the smaller check for fewer years. The rich man waits, takes the bigger check, for more years. It's all the same pool. One funds the other. And it didn't always run this way. The National Academy of Sciences found the system used to give the lower earner the better deal over a lifetime. Born 1930, the working man came out ahead, on purpose, the way it was built. But for the men retiring right now, born 1960, that's gone. Rich and poor come out about even now, and that's the crime. The head start the working man was built to get didn't get repealed. It got erased, quietly, by the plain fact that the rich live longer and collect longer. Nobody voted on it. It just happened, by design. And don't think the people who run this don't know. Remember Social Security's own files, the ones I said show they've known who wins for decades? This is one of them. Their own researcher, a woman named Hillary Waldron, working inside the agency, went through their records. She found the gap between how long high earners and low earners live wasn't holding steady. It was widening, from just over a year to almost 6. They watched it happen, and they kept the rule exactly the same. It's not a secret. It's in their own files. That's the machine. None of it is an accident. It's by design. Now here's what they'll say back to me. And part of it is true, so let's be fair. They'll say waiting is still the smart move. And here's their best card. That bigger check isn't just bigger. It's a guaranteed 8% raise for every year you wait, backed by the U.S. government, and it climbs with inflation. You cannot buy that anywhere. And they're right. For a man who lives long, nothing beats it. But that advice goes out to everybody. The same words, wait if you can, land on the attorney and on Ray. And for Ray, it's the worst advice there is, because he won't be there to collect it. The words are the same. The result is the opposite. And nobody handing out that advice stops to ask which man you are. That's not advice. That's a coin flip somebody else is calling, and they already know how it lands, by design. Let me say it plain. The choice was never neutral. They handed you a bet dressed up as math, and the bet is on how long you'll live. Live long, you win. Fall short, and you spent your last good years waiting on a check you'd never cash, while what you paid in went to a man who outlived you. So go look, not at a calculator, at yourself. How long did your father live for? Your grandfather? How does your body feel after the work you did for 30, 40 years? Are you the man who rides his bike at 90, or the man whose knees are already gone? That's the math nobody will do with you, and I can't do it for you either. Nobody knows your number, but you're being asked to bet on it either way. So you might as well see the table you're betting on. I'm not telling you which way to bet. I'm telling you it's a bet, and now you know who's holding the other side. So, who's the house? It was never a person. It's not some villain in a back room. The house is the design itself. A rule that takes the working man's money, Ray's money, and quietly hands it to the man who outlives him. The roofer funds the attorney. The short life funds the long one. And the people who built this system have known this for decades. It's in their own files. This channel won't tell you when to claim. That's not what we do here. But you can't make a real choice on a table you can't see. Now you can. Social Security is rigged against the middle class and the poor. It's not broken. It was built that way. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Finance told through data. Money by numbers. Money by numbers exposes how the system is actually rigged. No courses, no newsletter, no portfolio to sell you. If that is what you want from a personal finance channel, subscribe. The next case file drops next week.